Every great heist begins with a bad idea and someone desperate enough to believe in it. This one begins with a woman who survived something she was never supposed to survive, and a folder full of secrets she was never supposed to keep. Daniela was Cole Howard's logistics coordinator 18 months ago, until she saw something in that compound she wasn't meant to see. She ran, she survived, and she has been building a case ever since, waiting for someone good enough to go back in. That someone is Erica. She spreads the dossier across the folding table, satellite photos, floor plans, guard schedules, account fragments, and her sharp eyes move across every page the way a chess player reads a board, looking 4 moves ahead. The target is Isla Dorada, a fortified private island in the Caribbean, all white colonial stone and palm shade on the surface, and underneath, according to Daniela, a vault packed with enough blackmail material and liquid assets to bring down Cole Howard's entire operation. Erica makes one call, then another. Within 48 hours, the planning warehouse is full. Julian leans against the table with his aviators pushed up into his curls, looking exactly as confident as someone who hasn't heard the plan yet. Kibben is already studying the compound's network schematic like it's a puzzle he's halfway solved in his head. Hudson has already begun laying out gear on the far table, signal jammers, microcharges no bigger than a thumb, a device he calls the Persuader, and which no one has asked him to explain further. Ethan stands near the back, quiet, reading the guard rotation sheet twice. Then there is Mert, new, 20 years old, wearing an oversized graphic tee and the expression of someone who said yes before fully registering what he agreed to. He keeps his earbud in and his smirk ready, but his knee has not stopped bouncing since he sat down. A thump from the back of the room. Then another. Dave ambles in from the rear door looking mildly apologetic, 3 cat carriers stacked on a hand truck behind him. They're for morale, he says, with the enormous open smile of a man who truly believes this. Orpheus peers through his carrier door with the green-eyed authority of a general surveying a battlefield. Hobo appears to be asleep already. Jupiter simply stares at everyone with those yellow eyes until several people find reasons to look somewhere else. The plan Daniela lays out is precise enough to be either brilliant or a trap. The crew decides, collectively and without much discussion, that it is probably both, and proceeds anyway. 3 weeks before the breach, Kibben is already on the island, a fabricated IT vendor contract in his pocket and a quiet, easygoing smile that makes every security checkpoint feel like a casual conversation. He is the first thread pulled through the eye of the needle. Meanwhile, Drea and Giselle arrive by private sailing charter looking like money that has never worked for anything in its life. Giselle's wide innocent eyes and Drea's perfectly calibrated smile get them onto Cole Howard's beachfront reception guest list inside of 40 minutes. Sanskriti runs aerial recon from a rented sailboat, feeding data to Jameson, who is parked aboard Dave's boat anchored in international waters, stitching a real-time camera map of every blind spot on the island. He has not blinked in 20 minutes. Sanskriti has started photographing the sunset to stay calm. The security is heavier than anything Daniela described. Thermal sensors along the perimeter walls. A guard rotation that overlaps by design so there is never a clean gap. Sanskriti sends the new numbers to Erica in 3 terse messages. Erica reads them, adjusts the plan, and does not sleep. The night of the reception, Hudson arrives in a catering van. In the back, under produce crates and linen napkins and a frankly alarming number of shrimp cocktail platters, gear, charges, and 3 cat carriers. The guards wave him through. Hobo snores audibly. No one notices. Inside the reception, Drea is already 3 deep in the room, lifting an access card from a guard's jacket pocket with the casual grace of someone simply adjusting her bracelets. Giselle, across the terrace, has begun her performance. Giselle faints like she was born to do it, a slow, elegant collapse into the arms of a nearby guest, just close enough to the eastern corridor to pull 3 guards scrambling from their posts. She even murmurs something in French on the way down. Drea, watching from across the room, nearly smiles. Ethan moves through the empty eastern corridor like a closing parenthesis, quiet, precise, barely there. 2 camera nodes. 4 minutes. He rejoins the shadow of the wall and is gone before the guards finish fussing over Giselle's recovery. Outside, Mert holds perimeter watch. He is doing fine. He is absolutely fine. And then the van's rear door swings open and Hobo drops into the service road with the unhurried confidence of a cat who owns the entire island. 2 guards round the corner. Mert does the only thing he can. He scoops up Hobo, grins the grin of a man who planned this, and tells them his cat escaped during delivery. Hobo, perhaps sensing the stakes, permits himself to be cradled and headbutts Mert's chin affectionately. The guards laugh. They even pet him. Mert is going to need to lie down after this. While the surface buzzes with reception noise and shrimp platters and Giselle recovering dramatically on a chaise, Erica, Julian, and Daniela descend. The utility tunnel is narrow, warm, smelling of salt and old concrete. Jameson's voice in their earpieces is the only guide they need. Daniela is quiet as they descend, quieter than she should be. Erica watches her reach for panels without checking the map, sidestep a pressure sensor without being told where it is. She files it away behind her calm expression like a note tucked into a pocket. Later, Kibben remotely loops the first biometric checkpoint signal from somewhere above. His voice in the earpiece is almost bored, the way only someone extremely good at something can sound under pressure. The door clicks. Ethan ghosts past the secondary guard position without disturbing the air. They reach the vault antechamber. And stop. Because the final door is not a vault door. There is no combination wheel, no bank-grade steel, no biometric palm scanner. It is a cell door, heavy bolted iron with a narrow food slot cut into the base, and it has been lived behind for a very long time. The realization moves through the crew like a slow current. Julian says, very quietly, that is not a vault. Erica says nothing. Daniela looks at the door, and for just a moment her guarded expression breaks open into something that looks a great deal like relief. Hudson bypasses the lock in 90 seconds. The door swings open, and sitting at a wide drafting desk covered in inks, papers, and the half-finished ghost of a bearer bond, calm, thin, wearing worn clothes and dark rectangular glasses, is Davis Rodriguez. He looks at them. He looks at the bearer bond drying in front of him. He looks back at them. Then Davis Rodriguez raises one hand, makes a small easy shaka, and says absolutely nothing. Daniela steps forward past the crew and speaks first. The story comes out in pieces. Davis is not contraband. He is not incidental. He is the reason she came back. For 5 years, Cole Howard has kept him here. His captive master forger. The invisible hand behind every fraudulent instrument holding Cole's empire together. There is no treasure in the vault. There never was. Every asset Daniela described was always Davis's work. Real in the sense that it functioned, fraudulent in the sense that it should not exist. The crew absorbs this in the particular silence of people who have walked very far for a locked door that turned out to contain a person. Then the alarm begins. Not an explosion. Something quieter and worse. A low cycling tone from deep in the compound's bones, traveling through the walls, telling everyone who hears it that something has changed and there is very little time left to fix it. Hudson's voice crackles over comms, blowing 2 charges in the utility tunnel. Our entry route goes away, but so does their pursuit route. A beat. Probably. The crew does not have time to feel strongly about this because the walls are already shaking. They have one exit now, through the compound's interior and out to the dock. Davis stands, rolls up one finished document from his desk, tucks it inside his worn shirt without explanation, and walks to the door. He is, apparently, ready. He has been ready for quite some time. In the compound above, Drea and Giselle are still at the reception when they feel the vibration move through the terrace floor. Drea sets down her glass. She meets Giselle's eyes. Without a word exchanged, they locate Cole Howard across the room, and they begin the loudest, most spectacular argument 2 sisters have ever staged on a Caribbean island. It buys 4 minutes. 4 minutes of Cole standing with a glass in his hand, being charmed and delayed by the gravitational pull of extraordinary theater. 4 minutes of corridor, of running, of Jameson's voice in every earpiece calling turns like a rally driver. And then, in a basement corridor that should be empty, a guard rounds the corner, and Orpheus is already there. The sleek black cat sits directly in the guard's path, one white-tipped ear raised, regarding the man with serene contempt. The guard stumbles, trips over nothing, goes sideways into the wall. Ethan steps past him without slowing. Intentional, he says, over comms. In Dave's boat, Sanskriti laughs so hard she almost drops her camera. At the outer checkpoint, Julian has pulled the van to the dockside service road. The crew is 30 meters from the dock gate. And the system Kibben has spent 3 weeks threading his fingers into has just switched, manually, deliberately, to an offline air-gapped backup. Remote access. Gone. The final checkpoint is a wall. Davis, who has been walking behind Erica in perfect silence, speaks for the first time since leaving his cell. I need a pen. The specific ink in the blue cylinder in Hudson's kit. And that guard's printed ID badge, the one Sanskrit he photographed during recon. He says it the way someone asks for more coffee. Very calm. Extremely specific. Erica looks at him for exactly 2 seconds. Then she turns to Hudson. Hudson is already digging out the blue ink cylinder. Daniela produces the printed badge photo from her jacket. Davis sits down on a crate, clicks the pen open, and begins. The crew watches the dock gate. The crew watches Davis. The crew tries very hard not to watch Davis watching the dock gate. 3 minutes and 50 seconds later, Davis holds up a forged override credential that, to every human eye, is indistinguishable from a legitimate compound master pass. Kibben, watching through a camera feed still live on his end, lets out a long slow exhale. Okay, he says. Just that. From Kibben, it is a standing ovation. The credential passes. The gate opens. The crew moves onto the dock at a fast walk, not running, because running is an announcement, and ahead, tied and running and lit by the pre-dawn water, is the Meridian. And on the bow, sitting with the patience of something ancient and certain, is Jupiter. Cole arrives at the dock gate 40 seconds after the last crew member boards. He is in his white linen jacket, his watch catching the dock lights, his cold gray eyes moving from Daniela to Davis to the boat pulling away from the moorings. And for the first time, the thin controlled smile is simply gone. He orders his guards to fire. And then Hudson's last charge goes. Not in the boat, not in the dock structure itself, but in the dock's fuel shed. The blast is more light than destruction. A column of fire that rockets into the pre-dawn sky and sends every guard scrambling sideways. The Meridian is already moving. Cole stands at the end of the dock. His guards are scattered. His compound is in alarm. And the Meridian is just a shape in the water now, getting smaller, with an enormous gray cat still visible on the bow like a very fluffy figurehead. On the boat, someone finally breathes. Mert sits down on a cooler and realizes his legs have been shaking for the last 20 minutes. Hobo immediately climbs onto his lap, turns 3 times, and settles in. Mert looks at the cat. He puts his hand on Hobo's scruffy back. Something unknots. It is only then, in the exhale of open water, that Jameson tells them the rest. Davis did not only forge a checkpoint credential back there. While the crew held position, he had Jameson broadcast a second file. One Davis had been building alone in his cell for over a year, in secret, 1 page at a time. A complete, annotated reconstruction of every fraudulent instrument Davis ever produced for Cole Howard. Every real account number, every real transfer, every real name, cross-referenced, sourced, and documented in the obsessive detail of someone who knew that one day it would need to hold up in court. Transmitted simultaneously to an Interpol financial crimes tip line and 3 investigative journalists. It was, Davis explains from his seat on the deck, the one job he ever did for himself. He says it simply, without drama. Erica looks at him for a long moment. Then she nods once, as if confirming something she already suspected. On the island behind them, Cole Howard's guards have begun checking their phones. Payment transfers, locked. Accounts, flagged. They look at each other across the dock and the courtyard and the beach where a reception table still has drinks on it. Then they begin, quietly, to walk away. Cole is still at the end of the dock. His phone shows him a screen of locked, frozen, flagged accounts. On the horizon, moving through the early light, are Interpol patrol boats. Behind him, the compound goes quiet in a way compounds do not go quiet when everything is fine. Dawn comes up gold over the Caribbean. The Meridian crosses into international waters. The crew is on deck in the warm early light, some patching small injuries, some already asleep against life preservers. Sanskriti photographing the horizon where the sky turns from navy to fire. Erica finds a hoodie in her bag and holds it out to Davis without ceremony. He takes it, pulls it on, pushes his glasses up, sits with the same quality of stillness he had at his drafting table, the stillness of someone who knows how to exist inside themselves for a very long time. Daniela sits beside him. She does not say anything. He does not say anything. The water moves under the hull. Erica tells him, he doesn't owe anyone anything. They can drop him wherever he wants. Wherever he wants to start. Davis considers this. His eyes move across the deck. Julian and Hudson arguing loudly about whether the van is going to be retrievable. Drea stealing something from Gaselle's bag while Gaselle stares at the sky pretending not to notice. Kibben fully asleep against a life preserver with his mouth slightly open. Mert finally realizing Jameson has been filming absolutely everything this whole time. Orpheus is sitting on the cooler lid, judging everyone in order of their proximity. Jupiter has claimed the highest point of the boat's cabin roof and is simply a large gray presence against the sunrise sky. Hobo is still on Mert's lap and has not moved in 40 minutes. Davis looks at all of it for a long moment. Then he gives a single small nod. He is staying. It is not a dramatic declaration. It is simply the quiet decision of someone who has been alone in a room for 5 years and has just walked out of it into something that, improbably, looks a lot like people worth knowing. And far behind them on the water, smaller now than a thought, Isla Dorada sits in the gold morning light with its alarms going quiet one by one, its guards gone, its vault empty, and Cole Howard still standing at the end of a dock, phone in hand, watching the Interpol lights get closer. The vault had no gold. It never did. What it had was a person, a pen, and 5 years of patient, meticulous, devastating truth, waiting for the right door to finally open. The Meridian runs on into the morning, 14 people and 3 cats, and not one of them looks back. Cole Howard does not move for a long time. The dock is empty. His guards' footsteps have faded into the compound interior, drawn by the slow, unstoppable gravity of frozen payment accounts and the very specific panic that follows when a man's money stops being real. He is still holding his phone. It has not shown him anything useful in 11 minutes. The compound's perimeter lights are still cycling. The alarm is still running its rotation, a sound with no one left to answer it. One of Cole's luxury speedboats bumps gently against its mooring, untouched. Everything he built to protect what was inside is exactly where he left it. What was inside is on a fishing boat heading due west. On the Meridian, the morning is getting warmer. Sanskriti has stopped photographing the sunrise and started photographing the crew instead. Kibben asleep with his mouth open. Hudson with a smear of soot across his jaw that he has not noticed. Drea and Gaselle shoulder to shoulder sharing whatever Drea stole, both of them pretending the night was easy. Daniela is sitting at the bow, not talking. Davis is beside her. They are not talking either, but it is a different kind of silence than the one he had in the cell. That one had weight. This one is just 2 people sitting in the same light, which is enough, for now, to be something like fine. Erica leans on the rail near the cabin door, blueprint tablet tucked under one arm even now, old habits. She watches Davis for a moment. He has the same stillness he had at that drafting desk, but it sits differently on him out here, in actual air, under an actual sky. She does not say anything. She already said the important part. Dave is at the helm, one hand on the wheel, completely at ease. He is the only one on the boat who looks exactly as relaxed as he did when this all started, which is either a testament to his temperament or proof he genuinely does not process danger the way other people do. Possibly both. Jupiter is still on the cabin roof directly above his head, enormous and patient, like a figurehead that decided to upgrade to first class. The Interpol patrol boats will reach Isla Dorada within the hour. By then, 3 financial journalists in 3 different time zones will have already opened their inboxes. One of them will spend the next 40 minutes making sure what they are reading is real, then spend the 40 minutes after that making very fast phone calls. Cole Howard's name will appear in a headline before noon. It will not be a flattering one. The Meridian runs on. The gold on the water stretches out ahead of them in every direction, and for once nobody is looking at a map or a camera feed or a blueprint. 14 people, and 3 cats, one asleep, one judging, one simply enormous, moving through the morning like they have somewhere worth going. They do. They just haven't decided where yet.